And this is a good thing, though, right? Trade careers are booming nationwide with women, yeah. And they're reshaping industries in key markets. Now, the gender gap is definitely narrowing and may even be on its way out if this trend continues, maybe. Women are not only competing, but they're also having great success in a lot of the fields that have been traditionally been dominated by men, the trades, right? New numbers from TradeSafe shows where the movement is really starting to take hold. Now, they rank cities by these three key factors. First, the number of women employed in the trades. The second idea is how their earnings compare to men's earnings in those trades. And lastly, their overall representation in the workforce. And the findings suggest that these three places, Atlanta, Chandler, Arizona, and Lexington, Kentucky, are the epicenter of this new women in trades movement. And listen to this. These cities that I'm about to name are the highest median wages for the women in the trades. So Boston, a woman in the trades there averaged $93,000. LA comes in at $87,000. And now again, Arizona, Mesa, Arizona, which is near Chandler, by the way, I know that, coming in at $82,000 a year. So there you have it. Move over, Rosie the Riveter. We got some new women on the job. So please welcome to the show my next guest, because I'm sure she'll have something to say about it, Rebecca Walser from Walser Wealth Management. She's in New York today, but spends a lot of her time in Tampa. She's a jet setter. We're lucky to have her on. Thanks for coming on, Rebecca. But it doesn't surprise me that the trades are popular, but it is interesting to see that women are being attracted to them and they're actually starting to gain a foothold. What say you?
Well, so there's no doubt, Scott, we have had a disparity of demand and people moving into trades, both sexes. And so obviously that, women have been drawn to it. And with the advent of AI, I mean, I personally have kids that are getting ready to go to college in the next year and the couple years after. And it scares me to death. I think, geez, is AI going to make your 4-year undergrad college degree irrelevant? And if so, if you look at the actual data for the markets, they say that the trades are where it's at. HVAC, plumbing, electrical. We are losing this skill set, and women are, filling a gap that not only are we not filling, but neither sex is really filling. So I love that we're getting some, parity between men and women, and I love that women are getting drawn to this because they're ahead of the curve. I'm telling you, you're going to see blue collar jobs, trade level jobs picking up as the place to go. The knowledge that we have lost, the ability to actually, we don't have enough people to actually, and there's some cities with HVAC. I just saw literally an article that said HVAC, losses and people that don't understand that skill set might mean that you can't get your air conditioner fixed next summer. So we have got to actually we have to push more people this way. And I feel that, unfortunately, I hate to say this because I have 4 college degrees. I'm a huge fan and believer in education. But the truth is, as AI and even learning languages, you've got all kinds of apps that say, hey, let me help you learn a language. But there's technology now, Scott, that literally as you speak will translate into another language. So you don't actually have to learn the language. And then that person can speak back to you in the same app and it can be translated into your language. So these kinds of things are going to be changing the jobs, the education at the undergrad level, and of course the graduate level too, although that's more specialized. And it is something that we need to look at. I also know that Anchorage, Alaska was on that. And I thought that was amazing to see because women are already very few and far between if you look at the population of men to women in Alaska. So to see women going into trades in Alaska, I thought, oh my gosh, they're ahead of the curve on this. And thank God that they are.
You're exactly right. And, Jensen Huang, who we're hopefully going to hear some good news from this afternoon when he reports as the CEO of NVIDIA, has said that he believes that the next millionaires are going to be minted with plumbing, HVAC, electricians. That's where they're going to come from. And I think middle management, white collar, they're gone. Those people that just collate information and make a decision, that's exactly what AI does. So when I asked, I don't know if you know Ray Wong, he comes on the shows to talk a lot about technology. He's fantastic. I asked Ray the other day about job losses. Are you worried about that? And he says, yeah, we can worry about it because we do have, say, machines, robots, and artificial intelligence replacing humans. But there is such an upside, he said, for electricians and plumbers because of all the data centers that are being built. There's so much work out there. And I have seen that firsthand coming from Chicago. I have friends in the trades up in Chicago. And they said, thank God for the data centers or they wouldn't be working. They're so busy right now. They're putting data center in after data center. And then now we had the Trump's announcement with, firing up 3 Mile Island again and some of these nuclear energy sites. I mean, there's so much good going on when it comes to the trades. I understand why you might be a little reticent about a 4-year college degree right now because you could probably come out of school with a little bit of debt while you could have gone into a trade at the age of 18, be 22 years old, move up the ladder, be making over $100,000 a year and have absolutely no debt. It's hard to argue with that, isn't it?
I mean, and of course, the entrepreneurial spirit. I mean, I want to say, hey, go straight into the trades, get your craft perfected at the time you're at the 4-year degree. Maybe start your own actual, company and recruit others to come into the same trade.
Right.
Like, become the entrepreneur. There will become a time, and I don't think it's 10 years down the road. There will come a time that robotics will catch up and will be technically skilled. But until that comes, and until enough people adopt that, and it can be massively, mass produced, trades are going to be at least, I think, a decade behind all of the rest of us losing our jobs. And I hate to say it, but eventually, the prognostications, Scott, of job losses after AI takes over planet Earth are not good. It is hyperbolic. It is, it is kind of the end of what the normal way that we are used to contributing to human capital to GDP. And once we are no longer contributing human capital to GDP, how are we earning our living? How are we making our money? How are we buying things? How are we actually contributing to society? And that is a huge question, philosophical right now. But as we see Verizon, the largest amount of layoffs ever in their history announced, just last week. So we do have issues coming. This is not AI related, Verizon, obviously, but that is technology related, right? They lost phone service at home, teleline service, that's gone. Sure. Then the home internet competition. So, it's something you got to keep up on and go to blue collar. I love it. And as long as we need more women in finance, I need to get more women in finance. We can get women in finance, then we'll be really cooking with gas.
Oh, you're awesome. You're awesome. I appreciate you coming. And you're right. The human capital, going to GDP, what are we going to do? You know what's going to happen? Nancy Tengler and I were talking about this last week. Unfortunately, every time at the end of all these conversations, it comes down to universal basic income, which I hate. So we'll see. But we've got a lot before then and now. We'll see how that goes. But you always bring up some great, interesting comments and ideas. I really appreciate you coming on and taking the time. I know you're busy, Rebecca.
Thank
Rebecca
you.
Walser,
Thank you,
she's
Scott.
with Walser Wealth Management.